All right, guys, I am super excited for this interview today. I have the one and only Adrian Hernandez in the house. Uh,
What's up, Greg? Let's go,
yes,
baby. Let's go.
yes. I know we're not missing any energy on this call today. So, Adrian is a husband and dad. Adrian is the host of the Killer Moneytime podcast. Make sure that you download and listen to that one. SoCal Buyers, Berkshire Hathaway owner, brokerage owner. Killer real estate investor. I don't know if I left anything out, but I know you have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And Adrian and I we met for the first time in person at a real estate conference that you put on last year called Evo. And I was just blown away, not only by the caliber of speakers, I was blown away just about, how you guys put on the event. Everything was executed to perfection. And just the key takeaways and the mindset shift that it caused for me, and really what my action items were walking away from that. And then the last thing I'll say on that is that incredible spot that you have in Dana Point that I got to visit and take a look at that. So I'm super excited to have you on, man. Welcome to the show, brother.
Well, I'm excited to be on, bro. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming out to the Evo hybrid event that we had last year. That was awesome, dude. That was awesome. We were going to run it back, but I know Ty and Joe D, they have a lot going on. Same thing with myself. And for anybody knows that put on a large event, it is not the easiest to do. Before and after, there's a lot that's involved. So we're focusing on our business this year, but we're more than likely run back another one. But yeah, it was awesome how we got connected, and I'm excited to see how the journey unfolds, man.
Yeah, and I know next time you do it, we'll definitely bring an army of people out from Jersey to that event, because it doesn't seem like we have a lot of that on the East Coast, and we need more of it. So we'll definitely bring a little army out to you.
That would be cool.
Kind of like rewinding also. So we both have a couple of mutual connections in common. One being my coach, Shadi Bazzi, and I know that you know Shadi for a long time.
Yeah.
And Shadi's brought your name up numerous times to me before. And I've heard you on a couple of podcasts, and I'm just so thrilled to have you on, man, because I know the level of energy that you bring to everything that you do. And just seeing that in person at the event, it was just awesome. So I would love to jump into your journey. Talk about your background. If I'm not mistaken, you started this whole thing as a real estate assistant. So Let's just kick off, man, wherever you want to kick off.
Let's go, dude. Well, first and foremost, I got to give some love to Shadi, dude. Shadi was actually my first coach. So when I made a commitment to go into being a full-time agent, I always knew that you had to get a coach, right? And Shadi came out, did this NLP core, class that he did in front of all of us. I'm blown away, right? I hire him immediately. And what's cool is we always need somebody that believes in us, right? Rather that be a spouse, a parent, somebody. And I'll never forget, Shadi walked into the room. I forgot what I was doing. I was role playing. I was doing something. And he looked at me and he goes, "You will be a millionaire." And he goes, "I will bet that you will be a millionaire." He goes, "You are the next best thing in real estate." And dude, at the time, like, mind you, I'm 21, 22 at the time when I met Shadi. And at the time, I didn't even believe in myself as much as he believed in me. And I remember him saying that, and dude, that stuck with me so much. Like it really propelled me in those first few years, because I'm like, hold on, here's some guy that I'm looking up to who believes in me more than I believe in myself, right? If he thinks I can do it, I know I can do it, right? And so, for everybody listening, if you got that one person that's telling you, you can be somebody, like, buy into that. Like, because there's so many people that are telling you can't, right? And then you got that one person who says you can, and it makes a world of a difference. So Shadi, much love to you, brother. Much love.
Yes, yeah, I know Shadi's going to listen to this. And the funny thing is that Shadi was also my first coach when I got in the business. And on top of that, he was the one that's pushed me for like the last year. Greg, will you launch this damn podcast? He's like, you're rubbing the magic genie, and the damn genie that needs to come out of the bottle, man.
It's too good.
So you're right, man. I think so many people are either they have limiting beliefs, or they have doubts, or they have insecurities, and they don't want to get the message out about how they can help people or what they've done because they're ashamed. But I mean, that made all the difference in the world to me. So let's go from you got in the business, Shadi pushed you, you started as an assistant. Then what did you do? The normal residential real estate route?
Yeah, so you guys, I got started off as Greg said, as an assistant. Now I've been around real estate for a long time. My parents were agents. My uncle was a huge mortgage broker as I was growing up. They were, my uncle was a huge inspiring figure to me, as a kid because I got to see, what he had. My parents never gave me a book of business. I was always around it, but don't get anything mistaken, guys. I was not given like this book of business, right? My parents did not make it any easier for me. In fact, I didn't work with my dad for a long period of time when I first got into the business because we just don't, I love my dad to death. There's just certain things we don't see eye to eye on. He does business one way and I do business another way. So I got started off as an assistant at 21 years old. 21 years old, I was an assistant. Now, prior to that, I'd been in and out, making a lot of cold calls. I probably had 21, 22 jobs prior to going into real estate.
Same here.
Did you really?
Yeah, man. Definitely over 20. Yeah.
I love the interview process. Like for me, it was a game. Like I would go, go apply somewhere. I knew I was going to get an interview, right? And I'm like, all right, let's see how many of these I can crush down, right? And I remember getting like 2 or 3 jobs at one time, and then I have to figure out which one I want to work for. Like I felt it was a big game for me, right? Which, I mean, as an agent, what are you doing? You're interviewing, right? So it was kind of interesting how that segued. But prior to that, I wanted to become a firefighter. So when I was graduating high school, the market was plummeting. I graduated in 2008. The market was plummeting. My parents were losing everything. My uncle lost literally everything overnight.
Oh, man.
And there was this fear of going into the market, right? So instead of going into real estate, I jumped into fire. I was doing my EMT school. I was going through, fire, wildland, not training, but like internship. I would go volunteer, and nothing about it was appealing to me, man. Nothing. I mean, it was cool, the fact that, you got to help people, but I knew it wasn't for me. So when I pivoted, I became a real estate assistant, as I mentioned. And then from there, about 6 months in, I became an agent at 21. I was still 21 when I became an agent.
Wow.
Now, I did my first deal before I became an agent. So when I was an assistant, part of my job when I was done doing my normal job is I would go door knock and cold call. It's how I built my entire business, right? My entire business as an agent was built on cold calling and door knocking. So I was actually, what was I doing? I was door knocking around a house that the broker had coming up for sale. It was a flip, and I ended up doing an open house that weekend. And I know you can't do open houses unless you're licensed. I'm aware of that, right? But I was doing it anyways, right?
Yeah.
So I went and did an open house, and at that open house, I ended up selling the house that they were flipping. So I got my first sale before I even became an agent, right? I got my first sale. I knew, all right, dude, I'm going all in. So I went, took my test, got my license. At that time, I was still taking my test, right? I failed my test once. I was supposed to have it when I was doing that open house, but I didn't study enough. So I went back a second time, finally passed it. And at that time, I was literally strictly door knocking and cold calling. That's all I did, bro. From the time I woke up to the time I went to sleep, the only thing I was doing was door knocking.
How many contacts a day do you think? Because you're an intense dude. I mean, you're not talking about just 10 contacts a day.
No. So the minimum was 50 contacts a day.
Woo!
So you had to make a minimum of 50 contacts starting off. Now, mind you, I'm brand new, so I really don't know what a contact is and what a contact isn't, right?
Yeah.
Like they kind of gave me an idea, but if I looked at it, I was probably making well more than that. But all I knew, bro, is go out, let's knock 100 doors a day. And if we can't knock 100 doors a day, then we're getting close to it, and we're going back to the office to cold call for 3 to 4 hours.
Wow.
So that's all I knew. That's all I knew. And at the time I was going into Mojo. We didn't have a Vulcan 7 wasn't even out at the time. So I was using the old Mojo with the little, gadgets. And that's how you knew. I don't know if you remember the old Mojo, right?
I still have Mojo. Yeah.
I would go into an area, circle around it, and call just listed, just sold. And then I would print out flyers and go do that. And I did that for year 1, year 2. I would produce, I did I think I did 4 deals, then I did 9 deals, and then I did 19 deals. No, I did 4 deals not as a non-agent. Then I got it licensed. I did 9 deals. I did 16 deals. Probably got that number wrong. It was in the teens. And then that next year, the third year, I did 38 transactions, and then
the game began. Yeah.
Then it began. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was 24 at the time. I was the number 1 agent in our office. all off of expired. So I was taking 32 expired. I took 32 expired listings that year.
Wow.
Wasn't involved too much in the double N, was more just kind of, pumping them out all via phone
Mm-hmm.
and door
Now,
knocking.
when did you start getting in the real estate investing game? Because obviously there's a progression, because once you hit that 35 to 45 mark, because it happened to me, you're like, okay, this is great, making a ton of money, but the whole world is on fire behind me.
Right.
So
That
where did you scale up from there?
that year. So that year that I became the number one agent in the office, I had excess money. So I'm like, all right, I got to do something with this. And that's when I came across my first flip was an expired listing. So I had called an expired listing. I went to the house. It was in beat up condition. I remember going back to the office and there was an agent there who was already doing flips. And I presented the opportunity to him. I'm like, hey, dude, I don't know exactly what to do with this. I was thinking about listing it. And he's like, dude, let's flip it. He goes, let's flip it together. And now, mind you, Greg, at the time, I had probably sold God knows how many flips, right, to flippers. God knows how many great deals that I sold without just knowing how to do this myself, right?
Guilty by association as well. Yes.
So I presented the opportunity to an agent. He's like, dude, let's flip it. He goes, I have a construction crew. Let's go halves on the hard money. I have a hard money guy. He was the one that got the hard money loan, right? We went halves on the initial investment. We went halves on rehab, and then we split everything at the end. So he walked me through that. And that was in 2015, right before we moved to Orange County. So that was when I did my first flip. I was 25 at the time.
Wow. So then you moved to a completely different area and then just started to build it from there?
Yeah. So we were in Inland Empire, Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, Upland. I was selling in that whole corridor. Well, when I was selling, I don't speak Spanish. I'm Adrian Hernandez, but I don't freaking speak Spanish. That's a whole nother story, right? Whole nother story. So I'm having a hard time selling in Fontana, Rialto, San Bernardino. There's a lot of, Spanish speakers. They're Mexican and they expect me to speak Spanish. So there was a problem. So I then moved to the high end. So around 2000, second year in the business, I start moving into the high end. And that's when I really started to crush it, right? Because now I'm listing $900,000 houses, $1 million houses. And now I'm going to Rancho Cucamonga, Upland, Claremont, La Habra. I'm going to now those areas, more higher end price point. The whole time, my girlfriend and I, my wife now, but my whole time is we always wanted to move to the beach. So you guys, since I was 16 years old, I've had this vision of selling real estate at the beach. As I was growing up I've told you, my parents were in real estate. The only thing I knew as a kid was getting into real estate. So as a kid at 16 years old, I created this vision that I wanted to that I wanted to live at the beach. I wanted to have an office in San Clemente, actually. I wanted to have a team. I don't know exactly what it will look like, but I just knew I wanted an office down here. So at 25, I'm killing it. Finally have enough money. My wife and I go, screw it. We're moving.
Wow.
When we decide to move, the owner of the company says, why don't you guys go and open up an Intero in Mission Viejo? You guys are already moving there. Why don't you go open a company? Now, mind you, I had no intention on being a broker or an owner of owning a company, but an opportunity presents himself. I'm really close to these guys at this time. I get sold into it. I'm like, screw it. Greg, let's roll. Let's do it.
You're going all in.
Yeah. Going all in. So, we're in the Inland Empire. Yeah, exactly. We're in the Inland Empire. I do not fit in Orange County at the time. Mentally, I think that, okay? This is important. Mentally, I think I don't fit in Orange County at the time, but we do it. Scariest move of my life, right? Scariest move. We have no family down here. We said, screw it. We loaded up the U-Haul, we actually moved to Aliso Viejo, and we opened an office, and I'm turning 26 at the time in Mission Viejo, California. So I go from being a full-time agent to being a full-time sales trainer, recruiter, and owner.
Talk about a culture shock, right?
And the demographics of where I moved to, you guys, you got to think in Orange County, in Rancho Cucamonga, Fontana, Hispanics are like 60% of the market. They're a high percentage. In Orange County, they're like 8%. It's like
So you were really comfortable, and then you woke up probably on that Monday morning and was like, well, where am I?
Exactly. Now, thank God my wife is 5'10", blonde from Laverne. Like, she plays the role out here. I do not, right? So, Well, at the time, and this is important, guys, because a lot of us think that maybe we don't fit in a certain area because of our nationality, right? Or because of how we look or the color of our skin. And that was a huge insecurity of mine. Now, Greg, I don't have that problem. Like, I had to change my mindset to understand that I can fit in anywhere and everywhere that I want to, as long as I have the confidence and the self-awareness and, that internal structure within myself. But I had so many insecurities when I first moved down here that it kind of held me back a little bit, where I would walk into restaurants a little reserved, right? People would look at me a certain way and I would start to beat myself up, or I noticed I wasn't fully really in my skin because I was intimidated of my current environment, all because of my lack of self-confidence or lack
100%.
of self-worth, right?
100%. And we're going to get even deeper into the self-belief muscles and the coaching. The one thing though that I want to do is I kind of want to transition to where, okay, you start to get a little bit comfortable now. At some point, I'm sure you got comfortable with the brokerage world, the new area, etc. And then at what point do you start to realize that maybe this wasn't the right move just in terms of the brokerage operations, and it's time to go the direction of becoming a hybrid agent, which is what you're so passionate about now? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so big. So from 2016 to 2019, I beat my head against this wall to build this brokerage. I believe that this is not what I should be doing, right? But I do a good job at it. I go all in on whatever I do. I recruit 56 agents, and this is when it started to happen. I started to notice how there were a lack of income in a lot of the agents' world. And the average agent in the world lacks income. They have a hard time getting started. If they're brand new, it's even worse because they have everything against them, and very few are able to make that up climb, that run up the hill. Or they've been in the market so long, they're using the same things over and over again. There's just a lack of, I call it a lack of security and a lack of financial abundance, right? Now, why that is, I have my own thoughts. But that's when I started to realize, dude, something needs to change. Not only this, Greg, I was making more money as an agent at 24 years old, 23 years. I made more money at 23 than I did at 27. I made way more money at 24 than I ever did up until me running a brokerage. I had to turn 28 for me to realize, holy shit, why haven't I made $1 million yet? I've been in this game for how long and I haven't made $1 million. And then I see all these other guys doing this other thing and they're killing it, right? They're killing it. And this is something I've been doing for a while, little thing called wholesaling, a little thing called flipping houses. But I was so busy. I was so realtor filter that all I can see was listings and buyers, teach agents how to go find listings and buyers. And then I go, okay, well then what if we switch it? What if we start to then go after just motivated sellers and we do the wholesale model? So 2019, we make a decision. Let's shut down the brokerage. I decide I'm shut down the brokerage. I'm not doing this anymore because I've seen how much money I made on flips. I started to calculate. Mind you guys, this whole time I'm doing flips on the background. I'm doing one-offs, two-offs, doing JVs, a few by myself, a few here and there, just to keep my own lights on at my house, because all the money I was making, guys, went into the brokerage. We had a $32,000 overhead on the brokerage. I took every dollar I earned as flips and then whatever else I got to put back into the brokerage to keep us alive. I was making no money.
Yep, just to keep the lights on. So I knew that there was something there. But what's even more important, and this is the power of having a good partner. So Nick Ramirez, he's a partner in the wholesale company. I met him. Nick's awesome. Yeah, so Nick comes and Nick joins the office at the time as an agent. He knows how to find off-market deals. He starts finding me off-market flips. I start buying some flips from him in 2019, and he comes to me and he goes, "Hey, dude," he's like, "we're making way more money on these flips, and not only that, we're passing on a lot of them. Why don't we just start selling them off? Why don't we start wholesaling them?" And I'm like, "Well, dude, that's what I was doing, but you're right. Let's do it." So he turns on the faucet for wholesaling. Now everything we get that I'm passing on, he's selling it to someone else. We make a couple of $100,000 in a few months, right? We crush it in a few months. And that's when I knew this is over. You're onto something. Yeah. Yeah, we're onto something, right? Yeah. And at the time I'm getting introduced to, I go to Business Mastery, Tony Robbins, and I meet, and I don't know how I always forget his freaking name. Every time I go, and you're going to freaking kill me.
Um, how am I blanking right now? He's all over YouTube. He's all over YouTube. I'm blanking right now. Give me a quick
Take your
Chris Crow.
time.
Chris Crow.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Chris, I'm so sorry, brother. I love you. So I meet Chris Crone, and Chris is like, dude, you need to shift. He goes, you already know it. You already feel it. And mind you, I'm sitting front row business mastery. Chris is a couple of seats over. He's in the Lions category, right? So he comes over. He gets introduced to me by this blind attorney who's an amazing human being, by the way. Sean introduced me to him. He's like, dude, you need to go all in on wholesaling, stop the brokerage, go all in, right? He was the encouragement. At the same time, I'm meeting Carlos Reyes. I'm meeting all these other guys. My really good friend, Ty Leon Guerrero, who you met Ty at the event. Him and I owned Evo together. Ty's been doing wholesale since like forever, since like
Since
the 90s.
Began.
Yeah, he like helped create that shit, right? So like Ty's like, dude, I've been telling you. So finally, that's when we go all in, dude. In 2019, now mind you, you guys, I have yet to make $1 million. I'm working every day. I'm working my ass off 6-7 days a week, right? My wife's like, where the hell are you?
Yeah.
Yet to make $1 million. We shut down the brokerage, opened the wholesale company. Exactly 12 months later, we made $1 million.
Oh my God.
$1 million and change. $1,096,000 some change. Close to 1.1.
Wow.
Like that, bro. And the effort that it took us to do it, it was there. You know, don't get me wrong, but it was way less effort than on the other side.
Yeah,
right?
Compared to running the brokerage.
100%. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, you know, that's like, you know, they talk about overnight. No, that was 10 years of me beating my head against the wall to finally find something that worked.
So for the layman, or let's say we get a lot of real estate entrepreneurs on here, we get a lot of people that don't fully understand wholesaling. Can you just give us the quick rundown of what wholesaling is with integrity? Because I know with you, integrity comes before anything. So give us the quick rundown.
Yeah. So, and that's why we have the hybrid program. Like the hybrid program, in essence, you're able to go to a homeowner and you're able to give them multiple options to sell their home. I believe that if we do not give them multiple options, we are not doing them a service, right? So that's where ethics really plays a big role, right? You're going to tell me you're going to list a house, but yet their best solution was to actually sell it cash so they don't have to deal with everything and they end up making the same amount either way, right? So we'll get into that later. However, the biggest piece with wholesaling is you're not really selling the house, you're selling the contract. Mm-hmm. So I go to a homeowner, I go to Greg, and Greg doesn't want to list his house. He doesn't want the whole neighborhood walking through, seeing his house that he's lived in for 80 years that is packed with trash and packed with stuff that he just doesn't want anyone to see, right? I go to Greg, I offer him a cash offer. Now, some of you may think, okay, well, I heard that you guys are coming in and getting like 40 cents on the dollar. If that's what Greg wants to sell me his house for, I'm going to advise him otherwise. But if he is committed on selling me his house for 40 cents on the dollar, that's on him, right? I'm going to convince you not to, because of I can give you more, but at the end of the day, people do what they want to do.
100%.
That's not the situation here. I go to Greg, I get the house under contract at, call it $200,000, and the house is worth $320 fixed up, right? So now here's the key thing with wholesale. The house needs to have some work. Some work needs to get done to the house, right? If it's a fully fixed up house, I'm telling Greg we need to list this home for sale.
Yep.
There's no need for me to give you a cash offer if it's fixed up. Why? Number one, I'm going to insult you. Number two, you're going to tell me to pound sand. We're going to start off the relationship wrong. And then at that point, I'm like, Greg, you need to list this property. Let's just say his house is beat up. It needs some work. I get it under contract at 200. It's worth 320. I find a buy and hold investor or a flipper who's willing to come in, put some money into it, flip it, and I can sell him that deal for 220. Right? Got under contract at 200. It's worth 320. I sell it at 220, make $20,000 profit, assignment fee, and then I assign him that contract. So we're going to homeowners. We're getting contracts signed with that says we can assign it, and then we are assigning that contract to an investor with a finder's fee that's attached to it. You can also look at it as an assignment fee, finder's fee, consultation fee, however you want to look at it, right? And we are selling that deal to the investor. The investor is paying us 20 grand, 30 grand, whatever the case may be. And now we can successfully close that deal.
Thank you. That was very easy to follow. And I wanted people to be able to process that because just like you, when you looked around in your world, when you were in the brokerage world and you started to think, wait, something's wrong here. I had the same experience when I first came into business, and I took on a leadership role, and I started to consult with agents that are in the business 15, 20, 25 years. And I'd ask them, what does your portfolio look like? Or what are you doing to invest in real estate? Or what's your passive income? And a lot of them would look at me like I was crazy. And
Right.
I'm like, hold on a second. You've been in the business for God knows how many years, and you forgot to do one thing, and that was buy property and invest in property. So for me,
Exactly.
so for me, that was like the thing that just made me crazy. And for anybody in my world that's listening, especially in the companies, they know this is all I talk about because this is the path. This is the path to ultimate freedom.
It's interesting if we were to take a poll and we went to every brokerage and every broker and manager and asked them how many how many houses they actually own,
Yep.
and do they know how to create financial freedom within what they're selling. It's a very small percentage that will say yes.
100%.
And that's crazy because, Greg, you're telling me that we are the finders of all deals and we're making everybody else wealthy but ourselves.
100%. And there's no W-2 coming in. You're paying your health insurance and there's no pension. So it's on you to build it and to get the financial freedom.
Not only that, the financial relief we have when we get to save hundreds and thousands of dollars on our taxes by having these properties. You guys, I don't know if you guys know, there's a thing called cost segregation where you can literally, you guys don't have to pay any taxes. There are some of you agents that make $300, $400, $500, $1 million. You do very well as an agent. I'm inspired by you actually, right? The fact that they can create that much income working with buyers and sellers, I absolutely love it. But the thing is a lot of you are giving half of it back to Uncle Sam.
Yep.
And if you live in California, you're giving 80% back to Uncle Sam.
Hey, we're in New Jersey, so we're not too far off, man.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. And that, I didn't even touch on that, but that was another big reason why, Greg, why we shut it all down and we said, we got to do something better. So now the brokerage I own, we're all about that. We're all about teaching agents, hey, there's more than one way to go about this. Not only that, but we want to encourage you to take the commission checks that you're earning and buy the houses that you're finding. And not only that, you can go through seller finance sub 2 where you don't really need that much money out of your pocket. Right. And you can still acquire these houses and cash flow $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Right.
Yeah. And so you only did this and made this big pivot and transition 3 or 4 years ago. So I'm not asking you to share any crazy concrete numbers, but give us an idea of, okay, you hit that million, right? In the 12-month span. Then how many deals did you start wholesaling? Like what did the explosion look like for you? Because I really want to inspire the listeners.
Yeah. So we did 48, close to 50 deals to hit $1 million. And then we went to 80 and then we went to 120. We'll now do 200 plus, 211, 210, 211. Last year we did 4.2 million. And the year before that, we did just under 3.8. Year before that was about 2.2. 2.2, 2.3, 2.1, somewhere around there. So we had some heavy losses.
Crazy growth year over year, and obviously, knowing you're not stopping.
We're going for 5 mil this year. We got kicked in the gonads in January, as everybody did. February got kicked. March got kicked. We're back up. We'll for sure beat 4. Our goal is 5. So
so let's talk about that, right? So many investors, many wholesalers, many agents, especially, a lot of people are really feeling the pain. And I think that a lot of the reason they're feeling the pain was because they're still stuck in what used to be, and they're hoping that things are going to go back to normal. I hear crazy things that people say all the time, and I want to just like smack them in the head and say, wake up, like this is the new normal, at least for now. So when you were going through all that, talk to us about the mindset that it took to pivot, right? And what it took to get through those times. Because I'm assuming if you did, call it 200 deals, you had a lot of deals in the pipeline when things started to get really hairy.
Most definitely. And with wholesale, you have to have a strong disposition department. So in wholesale, you have acquisitions, which carries the front load of the deals, gets the deals under contract. And then you have dispositions because now you got to go sell off these deals. As an agent, the only thing you're doing is putting it on the MLS and you're really not taking care of who sells it. The selling agents that work with all the buyers are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in wholesale, it's a little bit different because now you need to go find all these buyers. So we were thankful and lucky enough to have some really good relationships with buyers that they closed on the deals. We lost a lot of them, but the biggest mindset was having the right buyers. However, I do want to answer the challenging mindset that comes with that. So we have to understand that majority of people will fold under pressure. When the market starts to get tight like it did, and don't get me wrong, we lost tons of deals, dude. So many deals fell out of escrow. I think we had 16 deals fall out of escrow 1 month, right?
Wow.
And we can see hundreds of thousands of dollars just being wiped from our pending sheet board. But we have to understand that this game is nothing more than who sits at the table longer. Nothing more than you gambling at a casino. Casinos will give you perks, and casinos make money depending on how long you sit at that table, because they know the longer you sit at the table, the higher probability the casino has at winning. Not you have at winning, that the casino has at winning, which is why they reward you based on the amount of time you sit at the table. Yes, in correlation to how much you spend, but they're going to look more at the time. It's just like real estate.
That's good.
The house, you will win the longer you sit at the table, right? You know what's crazy is this analogy is just coming to me. This is the first time I've ever used this.
And this will be a reel. This will definitely be a reel. And you just have to stay at the table. You can't leave the table, though.
That's it. You just can't leave the table. And the house is you, right? You're the house. You will win. You just got to sit your ass at the table. And even though you're losing hundreds and thousands of dollars or tens of thousands, 25,000, whatever your chips are for that day, it doesn't matter how much you're losing. You got to sit in the saddle, right? Because eventually you will win. But you got to stay in it. And then here's the key is staying in it during the times that you're down, because that's when everybody gets up, folds, and walks away. And we see it happen over and over and over again. So you guys, we got to make a commitment. Is this a career for you, or is this just a job? Because if it's a career, sit your ass back in the chair. Don't leave the table. You're going to win. If it's a job, pick up. Don't come back to this table. Go find something else.
Oh, that's good, man. That's so good.
You know where I got it from? I interviewed Troy Zucolo. I'm sorry, I butcher his name every time. Long story short, Mr. Universe bodybuilder.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's a multi-millionaire now, bro. I just interviewed him on my podcast. He's probably one of the wealthiest guys in Orange County. But he talks about that, how, he used to spend millions of dollars at the casino in a weekend. Millions, like walk away, losing $1 million, winning $1 million. And he told me, he goes, Adrian, the house only wins based on how long you sit on the chair. And as I was thinking about that, I'm like, it's kind of like with anything, right? Like the longer we can sit here, the longer we can be in the game, the more we're going to win. Right. But the moment we get up and walk away. So.
Yeah. And what I'm seeing now, and I'm sure that you're probably feeling this too, is so many people, I think, were just sitting at the table comfortable for so long, and they never built up any additional passive streams of income or anything else to support them or assets. And now they're just like, they're getting up and they're not only leaving the table, but they're running from the table. And I think this is the time when so many people are going to be able to come in and just eat their lunch. But what I found, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on this, is that the people that have the tribe, like I could tell from the conference that like you had your core tribe, that's the people that can get through anything.
For sure. Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's the quote, right? We've all heard the quote. If you want to go far, go alone. I'm sorry. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. Right. I forget who says it, but I just think we said that quote at the conference.
So, Adrian, what's next for you? And then I just want to jump into some self-belief and mindset activity and in your priming routines. But where do you see your operations going in the coming years?
Yeah, so we're big in one mission, and that mission is to take over Southern California. So we may not be the biggest guys in Southern California, but we'll definitely be one of the bigger guys in Southern California, the bigger companies in Southern California. We know that our competition is spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on marketing. We're not there yet. Our plan is to get there. This year, the plan is to hit 5 mil. Next year, the plan is to hit 15 mil. And we're on a mission to do $30 million in specifically Southern California. So that's the overall goal. Big goal is to crack into Orange County, which we're doing now. Most of our deals are Inland Empire, Riverside County, San Bernardino County. So now we're doing more Orange County. For the longest time, most of our deals were out that way. But just really expanding different marketing. So this year we got into TV commercial ads. We're doing a lot of things on Google. So to answer the question, man, we just want complete domination over Southern California. And then we got some verticals that we're spinning off to. I've always wanted to be in the exotic car game. So it looks like I'm going to be launching I'm going to be launching an exotic rental car company here in South Orange County. So I'm going to do awesome. some passionate projects, but for the company, we're on a mission to do 30 mil.
That's awesome. And just talk about the self-belief and the coaching aspect of things, right? So I know it wasn't just like maybe a light switch flipped for you when you left the brokerage game and then you made the pivot, but by going through those times, what did it take to navigate your way through that?
Yeah.
Because it's not just you wake up one day and I'm a new person.
Right.
Like you still have stuff behind you.
Yeah.
And what did it take to get to that point?
Yeah.
Was it coaching? Was it journaling? Was it what's the hack, man?
Yeah. A lot of you may think I'm going to tell you more coaching and more learning, when in fact my journey was the complete opposite. You see, I had to do a lot of unlearning. I had to delete a lot of the stuff that was holding me back. I had to learn to unlearn the realtor filter that exists in front of me, because the realtor filter would look at a deal and only think, how do I list this? Because the seller wants to net the most amount of money, right? We all, as a realtor, that's what it is. So I had to unlearn a lot of the stuff that I had learned in order for me to become a better investor. So for a lot of agents, I talk to them and I coach them and I have to help them. Majority of the mindset is helping them understand that this is a benefit to the homeowner. And if it's not a benefit, they will let it know. We will ask enough questions to figure out what is the benefit and what's not. But a lot of it is just removing a lot of the hallucinations, the self-beliefs of a seller would actually take my offer at 100 grand, even though it's worth 200. You see, as an agent, that was hard for me to understand. Wait, why wouldn't they just list it, right? Without understanding all of the other things that was important to them. So one of the skills that after I had to unlearn things, one of the skills that I had to learn was how to ask better questions based on the value propositions that I have. So, I'm just curious, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, if you could sell the house where no one walked through it, you didn't waste your time showing it, and most importantly, you can sell it the way it was, would you look at an offer that is within this price, right? It's changing the script, changing the wording. And then when I changed the script and changed the wording, and the moment it worked, it created some confidence. But at the beginning, it was all self-talk. It was all, you guys, we have to understand one thing. Everything that happens on our existence happens internally. Everything that happens, like as our day goes on, will happen in our mind first. So you have to mentally believe that it's possible. And I would have to tell myself affirmations like, for instance, one of the big affirmations I always tell myself is sellers come to me easily and effortlessly. Motivated cash sellers come to me easily and effortlessly. I had to start to create this mindset that this is possible. What I do adds value, right? And then I would start to help these people and realize it provided massive value. Right. And I'm just going to tell a quick story. I'm sorry for ranting.
Yeah, please. Guys. This is exactly where I wanted to go. So please.
I get on these little rants. So
no, go for it.
There's a big company where we live called the Jewelry Exchange. I'm not too sure if they're out where you're at, but they're a massive jewelry company.
We have one. Yeah.
Okay. So the Jewelry Exchange is massive, guys. Massive. Okay. The owner of the Jewelry Exchange is close to being a billionaire. Okay. He is very high up there. A client of ours. You would have never thought that he sold us his deal, his house, because he didn't want to list with an agent. He has family members that are agents, and he chose not to call them. He chose to respond to one of our text messages, get a cash offer, and sell us his deal. Now, you guys, this guy has bank statements on his desk for hundreds and millions of dollars when we were in his office. Okay. And we asked him, he's actually, if you guys go to our website, socalbuyers.com, there's a video of him. We interviewed him and we said, why? Right. And he goes, look, I've taken this to agents. I even took this to family members. No one wanted it. You guys were able to close in a week. You guys were able to give me the cash I wanted. And I left the house the way it was. He goes, I would pay you hundreds and thousands of dollars for that service again.
Wow.
Guys, this is someone that is worth hundreds and millions of dollars. Wouldn't you want to think he would want to list it with you? No.
Just wanted the convenience.
He wanted the convenience. I just took down a $2 million deal right up the street from us. We're in Dana Point, by the way. I'm literally looking at the ocean. Thankfully, last night, Hurricane Hillary didn't take out our building, right? It was
yeah, thank God, man.
It really wasn't anything, bro. They were making such a big deal about it. They were like light winds. Palm tree barely went anyways.
Yeah, it wasn't a Florida hurricane.
No, dude, these people be tripping, bro. They're tripping. People are like boarding up their houses and anyways. So right up the street, $2 million deal. I go to him. I'm like, why us? And he tells me, he goes, I know all the agents in the neighborhood. My neighbor's an agent. And I go, why us? And he goes, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it, Adrian. He goes, give me the cash I want. How fast can you close? I go, close in 2 weeks. Done. Take it. Take it.
And what you said about deleting something, it's so funny that you said that because I was at a KW conference we had last week, and Tim Grover was one of the speakers. And the final closing remarks are not, I'm going to go out and crush it. I want you guys to go out and kill it. I'm going to make another 100 calls. It was, what are you going to leave behind in this room today and not bring with you to become the new, better version of yourself? And it's the same thing as deleting. It's incredible.
So good. Dude.
All right. Well, look, I want to be respectful of your time. So just a couple of final questions and we're going to wrap up. So I think you're the perfect person to answer this question because a lot of people that, you hear stories from, they've been in the game for 20, 30 years and God bless them, right? We love to hear those stories. You built this in 3 or 4 years and made a massive transition in your life. So let's say you're an agent right now. You are Adrian from 2019. What would you tell the newbie or the person that did 50 deals last year on the residential side, but they don't want to do it again, or they want to transition and they want to build up a portfolio? What advice would you give that version of yourself?
Yeah. So I answer for the experience and the newbie. The newbies learn how to wholesale and find motivated off-market deals yesterday. Join a program, put it on a credit card, do whatever you need to do, watch as many YouTube videos as you need to, learn to find off-market deals. That's the secret of the game. When you can learn to find off-market deals and you can find a way to wholesale a deal to an investor, you'll never have to worry about money again. That's my first advice to the newbie. To the experienced agent, stop spending your money on BMWs, Rolexes, and really nice belts. For the next couple of years, take the money, that's everything outside of your living expenses, and go buy houses, go buy real estate. Right? You need it for the depreciation, number one. I know you're getting your ass kicked with taxes, just a depreciation alone. But not only that, I want you to also take a look at all of the listing appointments that you're going on and ask yourself one very important question. How can I buy this myself? Ask them, will they be open to carrying back the deal? Will they be open to selling it to you and you can take over the loan, the loan that's existing? Ask different questions to find a way to acquire that deal. And then the second part, experienced agents, find a way and learn how to wholesale. Very important. It is not illegal. It is not going away. It is only going to get even stronger. It's super trendy right now, which is why you've lost about 20% of your 30% of your deals. So find a way. You're not going to be able to beat them, so you might as well join them.
I just had a guy that's across the street from a 3-family that I own. I've been in touch with the guy for 5 years. Joe, let me know when you're going to sell. Let me know when you're going to sell. Let me know when you're going to sell. All of a sudden, I see a dumpster in the property, cleaning it out. I look in the tax records. I mean, somebody got the deal of a lifetime on this damn thing. So you're absolutely right. All right. So last thing. Give us your quick rundown. Adrian's morning priming routine, or how do you prep yourself to just be this energetic warrior that you are?
Yeah. First and foremost, guys, affirmation. So I'll go through my morning routine, but I am a big master huge master of affirmations. I say them when I wake up. I say them before I get on any call. I say them throughout the day, because you have to remember one thing. The only reason why you are the way you are is because how you talk to yourself. So change how you talk to yourself. Watch the loudspeaker, right? Be nice to yourself. So I say affirmations every day. I'm alive. I'm excited. I'm full of energy. Money flows to me easily and effortlessly. I'm a money magnet. Money flows to me in ever increasing amounts. All of my goals, dreams, and aspirations are all done. No, I'm so sorry. Are all completed by an infinite intelligence, and I give thanks for all of my good now and for all of God's riches, for I am one with God, and God is everything. And then this is a big one. This is all Tony Robbins, by the way. I now demand my subconscious mind to direct me in helping as many people as possible today to better their lives by giving me the strength, the persuasion, the bravery, the humor, whatever it takes to show these people and to get these people to change their lives now. And I just say that to myself over and over and over again, right?
Was that in your head, or did you just read that?
It was in my head. I got
I love it.
I stumbled over the money part, the first affirmation. I got two of them confused, but hey, the affirmation.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to step my affirmation game up, especially as I'm getting started in your program this week, which I'm super fired up for. So let's wrap up here, man. How can everybody get in touch with you that wants to get in Adrian's world, or just learn more about you and suck in some of this positive energy?
Yeah. You guys find me on Instagram at Adrian Hernandez. And to answer your morning routine, guys, real fast. I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm at the gym no later than 6 o'clock. I have a baby now, so there's some things I do in the morning before I go to the gym. But I go to the gym from 6 to 7. I'm home by 7:15. I'm in the office by 9. We have a team meeting every day at 9:30. And my operations is much different now. However, I still follow the same schedule. So from 9 to 12, I'm involved in money producing activities. From 12 to call it 3 o'clock, I'm involved working in the business. And from 3 to 5, 6 o'clock, I'm back in money producing activities. So as an agent, what that meant is now agent was different. I was in the office at 7 o'clock. I want to say agent / when I was the one mainly doing all the producing. We have acquisitions teams now, sales teams, so it's a little bit different. But it was just me. I was in the office by 7. I was done role playing by 8:30, on the phones from 8:30 to 12 o'clock. From 12 to 3 o'clock every single day, I was in my business, either working on a system, replying to my deals, or setting up my campaigns, looking for more data. And then from 3 to 5, I was outdoor knocking or cold calling. Again, just like I did in the morning. 5 to 6, I was following up. 6 to 7, I was back on the phone. And I did that every single day, even on Fridays.
Love that, man. Love that. Incredible. Let's
Real fast, I want to leave you guys with something. Look up the Statement of Desire by Napoleon Hill. This is a little statement that you create for yourself, and you read it every single day. I actually have this entire thing memorized. And so, you guys, it's amazing what happens when you put words in your subconscious mind. You just start to believe them. You start to create some amazing things in your life. So pick up the Statement of Desire. It's by Napoleon Hill.
Dude, this has been awesome, man. Thank you so much, Adrian. I really appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you, Greg. This was dope, man.
Yeah, man. Later.
See you guys.